patooties. I am feeling better today. I am still like not 100%, but I am feeling stronger. And yeah, my sister's gonna drop by and visit me and her wife, and they're bringing me some chili. And we're gonna hang for a minute, and I'm gonna do some videos tonight, and I'm gonna hang low, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go back to work. So yay, feeling better. But we're here for our weekend reading, and oh my gosh, like I wept when this was coming through this morning. It was so powerful, and it was so encouraging and reassuring. So many people I've been talking to have just been feeling the weight of all of the transformation and changes and upheaval over the last few months. It's like when we were in it, it's like we had to just keep going and muscle through. But like now, just like in this moment of winter and like void and silence and stillness and reflection, it's just allowing, like that surrender is allowing all of that emotion, that raw energy, that force to come through and allow us to process it and leave. And so, you know, for some it's brought physical disruptions in our lives, in our waking daily lives. Some of us maybe have been sick, like me. I've been sick. I know my body purges like physically when it goes through a lot of processes on the interior, you know, intrinsic realm. So yeah, don't be surprised if you've been tender and a little ill and a little under the weather. I mean, it's been a major overhaul, and it's been a long and arduous battle. And I feel like, well, let me get into the reading and I'll just talk about it, because I've got our description written below the blog that I wrote up today. I'm in the description. And I would suggest reading it, but we're also just going to talk about it now. So out of the Vintage Wisdom, we pulled peace. Actually, first, no, we pulled freedom, followed by peace, followed by strength. And underneath freedom, we've got Queen of Wands. We have King of Wands. We have the Empress. And so just, wow. Yeah, we've just come through this storm, through this battle, a long battle. And we've been fighting for these things to stay in our life for so long that it was so, we had to battle ourselves to shift and turn our, where we were aiming our energy, where we were trying to cut the cords. It's like we had to stop and reverse and go in the opposite direction and stop fighting to keep everything and just start fighting to let everything go that needed to go. And so, yeah, I mean, we've lived to see the other side of this battle, and as things grow quiet out on the field, it's like, yeah, we're left standing alive, and I mean, you can call it victorious, but it's not without like a solemn, heavy heart, because so much has been lost along the way. So much has been given up. You know, people have come and gone. Major chapters and eras of our lives have come to a conclusion. And so many things, you know, that we've lost have been, you know, for our highest good. And so it's been positive, it's been bittersweet, but it's not without like a mourning period of grieving. So I feel like we are coming out of that period. The storm is sorting, you know, the clouds are beginning to break, and the sun is coming through, and the seas are beginning to calm, and the waters are beginning to recede. And in this, it's like we're feeling this uplifting sense of inner liberation. Like, wow, having come through all of that, like you feel this sense of invincibility almost. Like, even though things have been tumultuous and uncertain, like through it all, and I feel like you probably have felt the same because it's present in this reading, that I felt really stable and secure. Like I just had to take a week off of work that I wasn't planning for because I was sick, but not once the whole week was I thinking, oh, money, oh no, I won't be provided for. I was just like, yeah, I'm so certain that I am held completely, and God knows everything I need, and he always does, and he always sends me more than enough, and so everything's gonna be fine. And I felt connection, and I felt supported, and I felt, I felt all of those things. And it wasn't because the outer circumstances showed that to me. It was because I could feel it without the evidence, that I knew it was there, I was certain. And so that's what I mean by liberated. It's like, wow, liberated from fear, from scarcity, from lack, from doubt, even if only for these brief periods and moments, right? We're not in this state all the time, but when we are, we're so lucid. It's everything's so clear, and so we've gotten this sense of liberation and freedom. The dove is here. It's like the presence of the Holy Spirit is upon us, and so we feel this inner sense of peace and tranquility and healing coming over us, and freedom from the illusions of darkness, the illusions of threat, the illusions of the opponent. We have eyes wide open. And here we have, on the peace card, we have this image of Mary with the Christ child, and these calm waters behind, and then the lamb in the front. And this is like, it's like the coming of the Christ. It's like being born again, being reborn, born anew. Your consciousness is having a reawakening, and the old is being washed away, and so you're being reborn, this new spirit with hope, with the hope of redemption, right? Of starting over, of new love, new life, new hope, a new way of thinking, a new consciousness. The Christ consciousness is coming alive, right? Got deeper compassion and understanding for yourself and the world. And so the more that you have let all of these layers of yourself shed away, the more that this Christ light within you is radiating out. And so where it's coming from is this deep inner sense of peace, that we've been freed from the ties that have bound us, right? We've broken through those chains. We've been cutting these cords and connecting with that Christ consciousness, that certainty in the light of the Creator. And because of that, it's like we're not swaying to and fro on these pendulums of worry and doubt and up and down and sad and happy. It's like we're becoming stable and secure and peaceful inside. And the kingdom of heaven, it's like we're starting to experience that from the inside, and we're starting to recognize that that kingdom is coming into that divine self, and it's happening, and we're feeling strong, and we're feeling like, yeah, come what may. It's like the Creator is within everything, and it can turn anything around and can be in any moment with me, as long as I believe and ask and accept and receive and know. And so this strength is carrying us through the storm, and we're also being able to take a step back and sort of witness this happening, and witness ourselves feeling this strength and this certainty and this security. And it's Queen of Wands. We're feeling Queen of Wands. It's like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden we're feeling so confident, and it's coming alive inside of us. And so we're becoming magnetic, because we've been stepping through all of these fears and rising above all these insecurities and all of this self-doubt and all of the pain from the past we're leaving behind, and we're becoming illuminated and magnetic, and it's giving us a sense of charisma and influence with others. And all of these insects, right, they're gathering around the light, they're attracted to this light, and they're mesmerized by the light that's coming from this source, right? And so it's the source of illumination that this woman is wielding, right? She's a channel for that. And so we're feeling that, and we're feeling a sense of, like, here's the King of Wands showing up. It's like this sense of, like, industry and determination and willpower and focused decisiveness, So what's happening to me in this scenario is that you know, when we talk about twin flame things, usually people get fixated on the anthropomorphic expression of the divine feminine and masculine in another, in a person. And we're like, yeah, it's the internal, you know, story too. But in this case, it's like, okay, this is a very clear internal story of we all have a divine masculine force of energy within us, and we all have a divine feminine force of energy within us. And within that, there's like a microcosm of the masculine and feminine balance within the divine masculine. And then in the divine feminine, there's a microcosm of a divine masculine and feminine balance within the feminine. And I feel that the divine feminine within us is in coming into union with the divine masculine, in that the divine feminine part of ourself that can receive inspiration and trust and follow that intuitive guidance and be creative and be nurturing and have that self-love and understanding and compassion is finally being balanced with the divine masculine sense of self-worth, deservingness, that ability to take your spot at the table and manspread and mansplain, the audacity, you know? It's like finally the divine feminine is getting a taste of the audacity that she's always needed to have the confidence to assert herself in the world, or himself, whatever it is within you. But whatever gender you are on the outside doesn't matter, because right now we're talking about the divine feminine aspect within us, which is that part that's the innocent, inspired part that wants to follow that inner purpose, that inner light, that spiritual longing to follow the heart and to follow where the soul and the spirit is leading, right? Whereas the divine masculine part is good at making things happen in the world, but they can, you know, deny their belief in the feminine within, that, you know, enthusiasm, that optimism, that intuitive spark that has no reason, you know, or logic or whatever. So finally, the two parts of the self are coming into union, where the feminine is feeling self-assured, confident, their sense of worth, their sense of value, their sense of deservingness. They feel competent, but also they feel decisive. They feel that sense of killer instinct, willpower, perseverance, determination. They feel like they can make a decision without having to consider every single other person first, without considering what they need to, right? It's like, I can make a decisive move, I can swing the sword and cut it and just own my decision and go from there, you know? So because we're having all of these things come into balance, it's like, okay, we're able to be a functional, productive, fruitful person. And here is showing up the Empress, right? Seated in her power, seated in her strength. All of the characters on the table right now are feminine. Even the king, this particular deck has feminine versions of the kings. And so this is definitely speaking to the divine feminine awakening and coming into union with the Creator. And because of that, it's like, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, as above, so below, as within, so without. So that heaven inside is going to be reflected in our outer circumstances. We're seated in our power. We have self-worth. We know how to take action and when to sit still and receive. We have a balance of both. And because of that, we're surrounded by harmony and beauty and abundance and wealth and fertility. The Empress is pregnant with potential, right? And she's almost giving birth. She's ready. This baby's cooked. So you're strong enough now to go forward in this new cycle, right? All of the zodiac is behind her. So this old cycle has ended. We've risen above the fate that we were dealt, and we are rising into our destiny that we are claiming by choice of free will, because we're awakened now and we're active participants in our life. So this is very exciting. I feel very encouraged. I feel like this is a nod from the universe today, telling us, wow, look at you. Freedom, peace, and strength are yours for the taking. You are shining bright. You are a bold, like, industrious leader. You know how to do what you need to do. You have everything it takes to get done what you need to do. You have the confidence to do it. People are also seeing you and believing in you. your success is assured. You're 5-star chicken it. Your nails stay fly. Like you know what I mean? Like you can get this done, and you're making it look good. And you're going to be reaping the fruits of your labor, right? If things look bleak now, we have been in creation phase 3. This is the dark moment before the dawn. This is like the final push of exertion to prove that determination, to solidify our steps so that when life brings us up and down and the conditions change, we don't change. We stay the same, right? It's like startup businesses that get successful. All of a sudden they like don't want to put in, you know, the same kind of passion, right? Or like people who are like, oh, they get their brand out there and monetized, and it's like suddenly they're not really putting out any more content, or they're not coming up with any new ideas. They're just kind of resting on their laurels. It's like you constantly have to stay proactively in creation phase 3 of putting it all, giving it your all, and then letting life return the rewards to you. But you're not doing it because of the payoff. You're doing it because your heart is fully in it. You're wholeheartedly in it, right? So I feel good. I feel like this year is a year of new beginnings. So I feel like a lot of our themes are going to be about beginnings, new beginnings, how to set out in this new beginning. I've been doing our 2023 prediction series, and I've made it to July at this point. And so far, it's like the timeline, the outline of our story for the year, for the season, is looking pretty interesting, because it's as if, just like last year was a whole year of endings, this year's a whole year of beginnings. And there's like these trials and initiations through each step through this new beginning, to make sure that as we take each step, we are aware of holding on to the self that we have fought so hard to become. It is so easy to get excited and let new jobs and new dreams and new people's influence take over and start influencing your attention or your intentions or your goals. Or they dilute them, or if someone doesn't quite approve and we want to keep them in our life, or like maybe somebody else has an exciting idea and they want us to try this with them, and it leads us off into a wild goose chase that's like off our path. Like, we need to stand our ground this year about learning how to not abandon ourselves so that we are safe enough to let people in a new and healthy way, to let things into our life in a new healthy way, to take on things into our plate and into our goals in a new healthy way. We're doing things differently. So we have to take our steps carefully, because these are our first baby steps as this new up-leveled self in our new up-leveled life. And the opponent is 24/7, never sleeps, never tires, never asks for a validation, never asks for directions. Opponent is a self-starter, completely ambitious, like never tires. So it is a constant force of resistance against you. So you're always going to have to be careful or mindful to take your steps with clarity and intention, tuned in to that inner voice of discernment. And the way that you know that you're getting clear discernment is that you've been able to get yourself to a place where you can continue to maintain your peace, even when the winds of change are blowing, even when the circumstances outside of you are bringing you things that you aren't expecting, or curveballs or chaos or whatever. You're still peaceful inside, because you know everything's going to be fine, because the Creator's with you, and Creator's got it at all times. And so that allows you to not make decisions out of a panic, or out of being too excited, or being reactive. You can pause, you can slow down, and you can look around and say, okay, what is the theme of the story playing out right now? What's the message I need to be taking away? What is the message the opponent's going to make me think I need to take away? Let's ignore that, throw that out. What is my Holy Spirit inside, higher self telling me, you know? What is my divine guidance telling me? Where's my deepest gut? Not the craving gut, not the longing gut, not the fearful gut, but the peaceful gut telling me. And we're getting there. Freedom, peace, strength. It's really good things. All right, y'all. I'm done. That's all I need to say. I hope that y'all have a good rest of your whenever you're watching this. See you soon. Ciao.